right. Looking forward to my first live in forever and testing this to see how this works out. And the number one question that I have today for you guys is simply this is um, are you committed to living strong? And one of the things that I know that I've been working on for the last several years is this idea of living strong. And I'm going to assume that we are live. Again, I haven't done this in a while, especially on the private group. But I wanted to come on here and share with you guys some of the things that I've been working on leading up to today, and also inviting you, if you're committed to living strong, go to my Living Strong community. You've been hearing about it for a little while if you've been paying attention and you've been following me. And I have a new easy way to remember and to share with you a website or a URL, okay, a link that you can go to, and it's called Strong on School, and it's right below. I have it right there. And yeah, so I want you guys to go ahead and go there and just become a member. And we have about 105 members there over the last, gosh, I guess maybe a year, maybe a little bit longer. Just been sharing different kinds of content there, videos, stories, and many of you came on for those specific things. But right now I'm focusing on simply living strong. I'm 65 years old, and I'm committed every single day to choose to live strong, starting from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. And even while I'm sleeping, I am setting myself up to live strong while I'm sleeping in this sleep state, and the science behind unconscious. And so as I sleep, and anyway, I could share that over time, what I'm doing while I'm sleeping. So anyway, what I wanted to do is share quickly with you guys what brought me to this. Some of you guys might know my story. I'm 65 years old. When I was 53, 54, I was at the peak of my physical training as a martial artist. I was teaching about 30 to 35 classes a week at our karate school, and been teaching and being part of that organization since 1999. And then at 53, 54, I was doing those classes. I was training jiu-jitsu probably 3 to 5 times a week in the noontime classes. I was also running 2 to 4 miles a day. And I was also competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments at Naga. If some of you guys follow that, if you're into jiu-jitsu, I was doing that and really having a lot of fun. And then I decided to go to a friend of mine's masseur, and my friend Ryan Cafaro, who's now a UFC champion. He had a masseur that he was using as he was training for his MMA fights. And I was sore, and he said, "Hey, look, try my masseur. He's great." So I went to him. He was doing a massage, getting a great massage, and then he took my right leg and tried to bring it up to my shoulder to get it, and I got a pinch in my hip. Very small, subtle pinch. I remember going, "Ow." That's it. and then that was just a heads up. He worked around it. I was fine. And then that, over months, started to become worse. It started irritating me. I was still training. I was still doing everything, not knowing what was going on. Went to Master Donato's chiropractor, who was right next door to our karate school. And he took an x-ray. He said, "Oh, yes, you have an impingement." So that was the beginning of my deterioration of my hips. So I had arthritis. It started getting worse. So my right hip got worse. And over time, my left hip got worse, where fast forward to when I was 63 years old, I couldn't walk and decided to get my hips replaced. And I did that. In September, I went to my primary doctor, gave me a prescription, and got my first hip replaced in October 2023. And it was like, no, 2024. And then I had my second hip replaced in November of the same year, 2024. And then 2025, I had brand new hips and started training. During that time, during my journey, I went through a lot of dark places. I got depressed. I started having these thoughts that I was useless. I couldn't teach anymore. Of course, there was the pandemic. We went through that period of time. And then we partnered up with Action Karate, the evolution of that, and where we are today with my role at the school changed. I was no longer head instructor. I stopped teaching classes, which was the plan, which was the right plan. And Master McGill, who now owns the school, he's the head instructor. I'm the enrollment director. And that was the evolution. That was the correct evolution. That was the right evolution. However, that really affected my mental state. I did not realize that my worth was tied into teaching and tied into my physical attributes. I was an athlete, always was an athlete, was a professional dancer. My whole identity was tied into my physical attributes, which when I lost that and I couldn't walk, it really did its job on my mental health. And so through that, struggling, doing deep dives into trying to understand, trying to keep myself sane and keep myself positive while I was going through these, for me, dark times. So out of that, I started writing a lot and started really digging into this idea of living strong. Now that came from a phrase I would say for years. I would tell all our students, you got to be black belt strong, black belt strong. And I remember doing a rap back then, black belt strong. So anyway, I took that and got rid of the black belt and said, I just need to be strong. And that became living strong. And then living strong mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically, emotionally, living strong, living a strong life. So I decided to write a book about it, looking back over my life at the lessons that I've learned in life. And I found that many of my lessons, my defining moments, that's why I call this book The Power of Defining Moments. It's called Living Strong, The Power of Defining Moments. You could get this on Amazon. However, I looked over my life. I saw the lessons that I learned, and the greatest lessons I learned were in the darkest, most challenging times of my life. And here I was going through another valley experience, as I would say. And I decided to write the book, decided to really look at the lessons that I've learned, put that into the book. And it's very short. It's something I wanted to keep short. It was originally probably about 400 pages, and I got rid of everything, all the science behind it, and just wanted to put in the tips. It's very basic. I was not educated as a writer. Matter of fact, I have no education, if you know my story. However, I wrote the book, and that helped me lay a foundation, moving forward, living strong. And now here I am, living strong. I went and did a deep dive on, okay, what's the theory behind it? I wrote a manifesto, and let me show you what that manifesto looks like. And so this is it here. And I wrote this mostly for myself. And 63, 64 years old. Now I'm 65, just turned 65. So the question for me was, okay, now I was in a different season of my life. I had no problem getting old. However, I realized I did not want to go back. There was no going back. There was not, creating this comeback, this idea of a comeback. that wasn't going to happen. I was not going to have the physical attributes that I had before the way I did. I had to move forward with this mindset of not comeback, but an evolution. So my manifesto that I put together after I did a deep dive, creating the theory behind it, the science behind it, what does science say about having this mindset of living strong, and then I created the manifesto. And hey, if you want this, let me know. Just comment below that you want the manifesto. And this helped me to build to the work that I'm doing today. And that's what the Living Strong is about. That's what Strong on School is about. When you go there, you'll see right away, you'll get to the About page, and then you can join. It's 100% free to join. And if you want to go deeper, there is a cost there, like a $9 a month cost right now. I just kept it simple, easy. However, if you want this manifesto, let me know. Book's easy. If you want the book for free, let me know. I'll send you the ebook on that. And yeah, I wanted to share with you guys where I am. And I'm committed to living strong. And living strong every single day. And in my mind, at 65 years old, my thinking is that, okay, 20 years to get to 85. I know what it is to get to 65, what I went through. So without question, from now to 85, life will get more challenging. My body is getting older. I'm feeling it aging. I'm feeling the challenges of that. And those that I've spoken to that are 65, 75, 85, and older, they all agree that it gets tougher, it gets harder. And so I want to be prepared for that. And so my preparation is to get my mind, more importantly, my indomitable spirit, to live strong and to really train myself to have this mindset to live strong, so that as I get older, I will embrace those seasons of my life with the preparation to embrace, as one friend would say, embrace that suck, because it will suck. However, it doesn't mean I would necessarily lose my joy or lose opportunities to live life full, to live strong. So the whole idea is that. And this is the manifesto that I put together. And yeah, a couple of things here to what I wanted to do was to share with, and I mostly focus on men because I know my wife is helping me to understand what she's going through as she goes through the seasons of her life, and which that's a whole other topic. However, for men and anyone that's interested, you can have this. And, you know, my number one thing here, I said, choose direction over drift or drifting. And in other words, you just go through life, things just happen, there's no intention really to you getting up and then having intention or direction in your day through your life, that you are intentionally saying, I will live strong in this moment, in this day, in my life. So choosing direction over just simply drifting. And number two is accepting responsibility for my life. No excuses. And for me, I take responsibility for when I get up, to what I do in the course of my day, to when I go to sleep, to what my nights will be like, and then getting up and repeating my day. And every moment that I live, I take responsibility for it. Conversations that I'm in, I take responsibility for. The work that I do, the content that I share, I take full responsibility. So I accept that. And even with the challenges that I'm going through right now, we all go through challenges. No one is going to be free from going through life challenges. I don't care how much knowledge you have or how many opportunities you have available to you or how much money you have everyone will go through challenges. So the question is, will you live strong? And so taking responsibility. And number three is training with purpose to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, as best as possible to be prepared for every moment of your life as you live stronger. There will be some moments that will just simply suck. However, we're prepared for that. Okay, taking responsibility, not just simply drifting through life, and then all of a sudden these come, and then you blame everyone else and the circumstances, as opposed to just saying, okay, I'll take responsibility. It is what it is, and I am prepared for this. And training your body purposefully. And martial arts, I know in martial arts I teach self-defense. It's better to be trained and prepared before you have a situation, as opposed to you're in a situation and then training to prepare for that situation. Makes absolutely no sense. So anyway, that's number three. Number four is grow through those defining moments. I grew through the 10 years, or right now, from let's say 53 to 65, I've learned, I've grown. A lot of defining moments, and I'm in a defining moment right now. It's an opportunity to grow, because I know, based on my life, my 65 years, every time I went through those defining moments, those dark moments, I came out on the other side smarter, wiser, and better equipped to serve others and also live a strong life. So grow through those defining moments. Choose action over excuses. Move, get up, do something. That's why I did this today, just to get out there and put myself out there and to share this and to make sure that I put action behind what I say I want to do or what I would recommend someone else doing. Next week, I'll be speaking at a youth organization, and they're bringing me in as a professional speaker. And I want to make sure I let them know that what I encourage them to do, that I do. There's action behind it, so no excuses. All right, number 6 here has to do with building strength that benefits others. So I know the work that I do is not about my success, it's about helping others be successful, which is why I work with small businesses, which is why I continue to do all that I can at our karate school as that old man in the corner. And I embrace that with respect and honor because of the age, the years that I've lived, the lessons that I've learned. I'm available to share. When somebody asks me a question, I consider that question through a filter, through a frame. And that's 65 years of living. And so I want to encourage others, inspire others to live strong so that they can live strong every day. And then number 7, I only put 7 in here, is that I continue the journey. It never ends. Never ends. I will continue to learn and grow every day through to my last breath. So I'm committed to the next 20 years, one day at a time, to live strong. Are you committed to live strong every day through to the end of your life? Now, we're not promised tomorrow. So we've got today, we've got this moment right now. So what are you going to do? Now, I did put a creed, a Living Strong creed, something that we do in martial arts, and a lot of the mastermind groups that I've been in, we've always had like a bit of a creed, something that we would all agree on and stand on. So this one is the Living Strong creed. Is I choose direction over drift. I accept responsibility for my life. I train my body, mind, and spirit. I grow through defining moments. I choose action over excuses. I build strength that benefits others. And I continue the journey, living strong, always one single step at a time. So that's my manifesto, and that's what I thought I'd share today. And I'm looking forward to going and seeing how this recording live went. And again, if you want this manifesto, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I'll just send it to you. You want my book? Okay, if you don't have it already. And you can buy it on Amazon, or you can ask for it. I'll give you the ebook at no cost, free. Okay, and I also have it on audio. I did go ahead and do an audio of it, so if you want that, let me know. And I do recommend, if you're committed to living strong, join me in my community, Strong on School.com. And this is a platform that I've known about for years and decided to use this as my platform to create a private space where everyone's safe, and you can come on in a safe space, unlike other platforms that you really can't control who goes in. I control who goes in. All right, guys, join me. Have a great day. All right, so ending this right now.